We recently had the opportunity to meet Candace Simar to discuss Farm Girls, a book of poetry produced in collaboration with her sister.
Well, my sister teaches creative writing, and particularly memoir. And she has a memoir written but not published yet. And we were bemoaning the fact one day that she did not have a published book. And she said, oh, if only I had enough poems, but I only have, and she mentioned a number of poems. And I said, well, I have some poems about the farm. I said, maybe we could put them together. And we wrote a few more essays, and we wrote a few more poems. By chance, connected with Chip Borkenhagen and River Place Press in Brainerd, we worked together and we were able to publish this book, and we're so thrilled with it. We think it's beautiful. And one thing about the Farm Girls is that our parents and grandparents and relatives who have pictures in the book would die laughing if they ever thought they were included in any way in a poetry book. And so it's been really fun that way. We grew up on a dairy farm in rural Fergus Falls. We lived on the road halfway between Dalton and Underwood, 345 acres. It was a farm that my grandfather built, and my dad took over. When I was a little girl, the grandparents lived upstairs. Lots of good memories. And then my dad went into dairy, which was what a lot of farmers did in the early 60s. And so they began that ever-present milking cows morning and night. And then when I was in my early teens, my father became sick. He had very severe heart disease, and we had to sell the farm in 1970. I was a senior in high school, and we moved for my senior year. It was a relief to leave all the work of the farm, but sad to leave the farm. And I still think how much I would like to get it back. Curtains. The front room curtains were crinkled plastic, bought at Ben Franklin. Country scenes of Tudor England fluttered blue and yellow in the August breeze. White linen panels in Mama's room blew straight out when the west wind howled across North Dakota, searching until it found us in Minnesota. My room faced east, and the sun peeked over the lilac bushes through lavender lace, waking me each morning. I could sleep through the crowing rooster, the clatter of early breakfast before milking, the bark of puppy herding the cows to the barn, and Daddy's "come boss" call. But I needed the sun's touch to awaken. The gabled attic window, without any curtain at all, was my favorite spot. Wasps crawled between the panes. No matter how stifling hot or oppressive, I dared not open the storm window lest I face their stingers. I stood for hours looking beyond the barnyard, beyond Dad plowing in the farthest field, beyond the mailbox at the end of the driveway, always beyond where dreams seem possible. I never dreamed that someday I would look back, peeking in these same windows, searching.
Candace and Angela were on a book tour when we stopped to hear their reading at Lakes Area Radio Theater in Alexandria.
I had the privilege of attending a one-room schoolhouse in first grade where I was the smartest and the prettiest in my class. I forgot to mention, I was the only kid in my class. Last year of rural school. It's a black and white day in a one-room school, chalk dust and musty books. Black cats march across burlap bulletin board. Hard sunlight filters through old glass. Maps roll tight like window shades. Wood floors scrubbed by bare feet. Brown braids and tight tails on either side of lips compressed to a frown like a door closed to an October air. My expression, a comment on Larry Peterson, who sits by my side for the school picture. Me, the only kid in first grade, glides down the slide on a wax paper magic carpet, swinging with Luann, underdog pushes from my sister. We dance the hokey pokey on a rainy day. Mrs. Gentz joins in. She smells of Paquin lotion. The Pledge of Allegiance, right hand over heart, lukewarm milk, chocolate on a lucky day, red plaid lunchbox carries peanut butter on Wonder Bread. After lunch, we listen to Little House in the Big Woods, eyes heavy with sleep. I perch by the window on a warm radiator, trace pictures through onion paper, the drone a 5th grade geography class behind me, never dreaming of town school and Mrs. Paulson, who'll smack my head with pencils and make me cry. Living breath, dying breath. All poems are done with the dying breath. Language on the inhaled breath is rare. It is the language of grandmothers, Lee Young Lee. My grandmother knew this language, the language of the inward breath. As all Norwegians, she sucked in her breath with ja on her lips. It was the word to fill a pause, the vocabulary of acceptance, of knowing there was nothing to do but make coffee and get busy doing something else. It was the ja spoken when Grandpa spent grocery money at the tavern, when sons left for war, when children died, when my sister had a baby before the wedding. The universal grandmother language acknowledges life goes on even when things go wrong. Ja on the exhaled breath gives an answer. Ja on the inward breath tells nothing, gives nothing, offers nothing. Though a poem may ride the dying breath, one also clings to that haunting inward gasp